As consumers, we are bombarded by it at every turn, like the Incredible Hulk being bombarded by gamma rays. But what makes some media endure, while others are banished to the forgotten black hole of obscurity, never to be heard from again? Who or what decides this? Hetero life mates Steve and Yahel want to know, and they want to know now. This is Obscurity Now. And what's up, Obscurians, and welcome to another episode of Obscurity Now, the show that takes a look at weird and almost forgotten pieces of media, and then we decide if they should be remembered for all of human history or tossed into the black void of obscurity, never to be heard from again. My name is Steve, and with me, he was the one version of Ken who was rejected from the movie. It's
Yahel. Yeah, I just, I wouldn't go fully hairless, My beard. Oh, no, wait, that's...
Has there ever been a Puerto Rican or Latino Ken? Anybody know?
Oh, I'm
anyone?
sure. I bet. I mean, there's all kinds of, Barbie dolls. I'm sure there is.
All right, well...
Hey, we have Creative KV is already in the chat here. Oh, shoot, it's the guy. Some guy kidnapped me, and I showed up here.
Welcome, dude, and it's the guys. That's right, the boys from the obscure void. I think that's what I'm going to start referring to as.
I'd rather you not.
Well, that's.
But yeah, Steve, it's funny that you referred to a Barbie here. Clearly, you do have Ken-like hair, I would say.
Oh, I will take that as a compliment. Yeah, it's.
Well, that's one way to take it.
Too late. I've already taken it as a compliment. Yeah, I mean, sorry,
fine.
I'm not in. It's too hot for long. I don't know how you make it through Florida summers with your long hair, because when the heat hits here in
Steve,
LA,
it's a state of mind.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
and I'm from Puerto Rico. That helps.
What?
It's hot in Puerto Rico.
But you and I lived in Florida for most of our lives.
Yeah. Well, and right now, this is honestly like by far the hottest summer. As I'm sure you've seen in the news, it's real hot.
Yeah, we're dying over.
Hottest summer I've ever experienced.
We're dying over here as well. I mean, at least you have centralized air, whereas I had to turn off my fan so we could do this podcast. So there's a possibility I might pass out from a heat stroke, ladies and gentlemen. If that happens at any time, Yahel's just going to have to do the show by himself. So, I mean, Are you prepared to do that? Are you prepared?
I have a hair washing and brushing tutorial ready to go just in case such a thing happens.
And also you've got like graphs and outlines of your vasectomy, of course, because you want everyone to be...
Of course. I actually have my vas deferens. I will show it to everyone. All right, so should we dive in to our topic? Obviously, you've already alluded to it. We're going to be covering a story from a Barbie comic book.
We are talking about Barbie, not just the comic, a little bit about Barbie. Why did you want to cover this, Yahel? Why did you... I mean, this is like low stuff here, lower than The Little Mermaid, which you also wanted to cover.
Well, when I said I wanted to cover Barbie, I meant something else. It was more of a physical coverage kind of thing. Anyway, I didn't even realize we were talking about the podcast at the time. It's the same mistake with The Little Mermaid that I made, just...
Then the internet found out that you wouldn't want to date Ariel because of the smell. What do you think about that?
Right, I did say that. Well, I think it's one of those things where you're like, oh, of course, that's so obvious, but you never thought about it till you heard it from someone else. So I think a lot of people had an epiphany,
Oh, man.
Her legs it smell like fish. Who knows what else?
You mean her tail, her fish tail smells like fish? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
All right. Wow. Okay. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and jump into the Obscuritron, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Barbie. I fear this has already gone off the rails.
Welcome to your feature presentation.
I'm having a weird day. The name's Adam. Where I'm from, I'm known as the Zero Thief. Depending on who you ask, some might say I'm the best thief. But believe it or not, even the best screws up every once in a while, and that's what I did, and I had to make a fast getaway. I ended up crash landing on this bizarre planet. Turns out, I didn't get away fast enough. These winged freaks followed me here.
It's just us here, Zero Thief, on this empty backwoods planet. So start talking, either to me or my blade.
Okay, I do have something to tell you. It's about the planet. It's not that empty. Come on, man, I thought you were gonna duck. Cut me loose. Cut me loose. Behind you. Whoa! Thought I was done for. It was gonna be a light snack for a snarling creature, but then she showed up, riding on the back of one of those monsters like it was nothing. And with a wave of her hand, the other razor-toothed beast just stomped away. I'd never seen anyone like her before in my life. I thought I'd say something clever. Thanks, have you seen my ship? She gave me a look that said more than words ever could, because I think she was trying to read my mind or something. And from there, things just got even weirder. Escape to Earth. Issue 2, crowdfunding now. What's up?
I couldn't help but notice. You said that you were fearful. That you feared that this had already gone off the rails.
Indeed, I'm scared. I'm afraid for my life,
Steve,
actually.
Well, Steve, I would not be a good friend if I let you live with fear. So I think I've got a little something to help you live with no fear.
I sure hope it's a T-shirt or some other kind of like item that I could wear.
Funny, Steve, it is 100% spun cotton. You can wear in a T-shirt form. Whoa. It's the No Fear shirt of the week.
Oh my! I can't believe it's back yet again. All right, let's see here. Use your powers of the mind to guide my hand to. Oh wow! There it is. All right, so
there it is.
Without any further ado, here it is: the No Fear shirt of the week.
I've never lost. I've just been a little behind when time ran out. No fear. Sports. Why is it No Fear Sports?
Whoa, yeah.
What is?
So were they diversifying at this point? You've got your sports section, and then maybe something geared more toward the not No Fear, the Hot Topic crowd, possibly. What's going on here?
One thing I've noticed, I'm sure you have too. A lot of these No Fear shirts, it's basically like catering to insecure dudes for the most part, right?
Sure.
And delusional, right? Like the one from last week was like, oh, if you don't show me your sack, I'll eat it for lunch or something. Like if you don't show me your guts, that's basically what it said, right? Something to that effect. And I guess they realized, you know what? There's a bunch of insecure second placers that we could be selling shirts to. And that's basically like, this shirt is just like peak delusion. I never lost. I was just a little behind when time ran out. When the winner and loser is decided.
All right, so that, ladies and gentlemen, is the No Fear shirt of the week. I'm feeling fearless enough right now. How about you?
Yeah, fearless enough to tackle Barbie's fashion. I can't remember what it's called.
Wow, nice segue.
The fashion must go on, or something like that.
It's not the fashion must go on. The
fascism must go on. That's right. It's a Barbie story about
fascism. Well, funny you bring that up. Apparently the movie is kind of turns into like a feminist rant. At least that's what I've heard. Haven't seen it. But,
good. It's Barbie. Barbie's not allowed to be go into some feminist rant. I think that's fine.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because all right, this was so obviously you and I don't really have a history like we do with most of the stuff we cover with Barbie. So I was going to ask you, do you think Barbie is bad for little girls?
I don't know. I've definitely seen dolls where it's, and a lot of it is Barbie's been around for so long, since like the 40s or something, that, well, of course, there's going to be dolls that may have been problematic in the 50s or 60s or whatever that would never come out now, or maybe like implied that women could only, be stay at home or whatever. So I don't know if it's fair to like say it's good or bad. I'll say I've seen some dolls that I'm like, really? And I've seen some other Barbie dolls. I'm like, oh, cool. She's a scientist. Like that seems like a great, thing. So it's all over the place, I suppose.
Well, I think the problem that a lot of people have, or is that not that it says that. I mean, maybe back in the day they said that Barbie was only supposed to stay at home and cook and clean, but clearly since then she's had every occupation under the sun. But they're saying that you need to look a certain way.
I don't know. There's also, I mean, I know I'm sure we've all seen like the things where like, oh, if you put Barbie's dimensions into like real life, it's like this impossibly strange looking, thing for like anyone to try and attain. I mean, I don't know.
I'm really sweating you under the lights
I mean,
here.
there's all kinds of Barbie dolls. I would feel like this just depends on what kind of Barbie dolls you're buying for your child.
Right.
I feel like.
And, there's actually been dolls that I would say that have been created to be kind of like the anti-Barbie dolls, like those, like, I think they're like Monster High. I mean, you've got to know those.
Yeah.
You're a big goth girl fan.
I'm more of a Bratz man.
No. See, I think Bratz are even worse than Barbie because they look like they have plastic surgery and everything. They
look pretty bad.
Yeah. So, all right, we can table this conversation, which is obviously making you very uncomfortable. But
anyway.
I mean, I would, to sum up, I'd say it's just a toy, and if you don't like Barbie, don't buy her. Like,
Yeah. I would say maybe the advertising, some of the advertising with Barbie has been more problematic to me than the toys themselves, because the toy is ultimately gonna do whatever scenario the child wants to, put the toy in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's the advertising that probably influences what that child's gonna do with the toy more than anything. So if anything, I would say advertising is probably the more problematic part of the whole, not just Barbie, but toy industry as a whole.
I would say you should buy your Barbie, buy a Barbie if you're interested, and use your imagination to put her in all kinds of like crazy, like who's to say that Barbie can't show up and do a mission with like G.I. Joe or even hang out with the X-Men? Who knows?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. There's the Star Trek X-Men crossover.
Oh, I heard about that.
It's a comic book. Yeah, we should cover that one.
Is that was that from the 90s? It's got to be, or early 2000s
I think
maybe.
So.
Was it
I think it's
joint Marvel Malibu kind of deal, or who had Star Trek
probably
at the time?
I think at that time it probably was Malibu, because I think they were doing like the DS9 comics. But yeah, I'm sure I'll bring that up at some point. Somehow I won't forget.
All right. So enough of hot button topics here that we know very little about, and on to something we know more about, and that is 90s licensed Marvel Comics tie-ins. So this is Barbie #1 here. Actually, before we go into the comic, let's talk just a little bit more about Barbie, since we're never going to talk about Barbie again. And that is, I never knew these sort of Barbie fun facts, and here they are. Barbie, the doll, was actually created March 9th, 1959, 64 years ago, and she was created by the co-founder of Mattel, Ruth Handler, and her husband, Elliot, was, I guess, the other founder. And did you know Barbie had a full name this whole time?
Yeah, I did. I also knew that Ruth had created Barbie. I watched like an episode of on Barbie on the toys that made us.
Yeah, I didn't actually get to see that one, but
it's good. It's actually very good.
I'm sure it is. That show was very good. Her full name is Barbara Millicent Roberts. I like to imagine she's like a cousin or sister of Eric Roberts, one of my favorite actors of all time.
Oh, yes. I know that you love Julia Roberts.
No, Eric Roberts, not Julia Roberts. Eric Roberts.
Yeah, that's her brother, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. So you think they're all related?
That's all.
Is that what you're saying?
I said like her sibling. Isn't that? I thought like that was her brother.
I was saying Barbie and Eric Roberts are related somehow. I don't really care about Julia Roberts, is what I'm saying.
Oh, no. I just brought up that he's Julia Roberts. What is going on, Steve? What's this thing with you and Erica Roberts?
Me and Eric Roberts just did a lot of cocaine together. Is all.
Well, I mean, you also seem very defensive about Julia. I don't know, Steve. Just very aggressive, very defensive.
Someone has to bring the testosterone to this episode because I mean, it's in the lowest it's ever been compared to past episodes.
Steve's ready to go from 0 to toxic masculinity in an instant. Just so
hold on, let me get my Punisher shirt. I'll be right back.
All right. Anyways, I think you have some more Barbie facts.
No, really, that's it.
Oh, that's it. Oh, great.
Yeah, we're gonna jump into the comic now, which is the most important thing, more important than the doll itself. So this is Barbie Volume 1, Number 1. The cover date is January of 1991, and it ran, the entire run of Barbie Volume 1 ran from January 1991 all the way to 1996. 63 issues. Can you imagine they got 63 issues of this after you read it?
I can't imagine, because like this one has like, I know we're only going to talk about like the first story, but there's what, like 4 stories, I think, or 3 stories. So you're telling me if they kept this format, we're talking about nearly 200 different Barbie stories.
And the saddest thing is that the one story we're going to cover is like the only one that had an actual conflict. Like the others are just like, I don't know, Barbie's dog runs away and they have to go like find her or something. Like, yeah.
Oh, man. As soon as you told me, hey, we're only going to cover the first one, I didn't read the other ones. I did look through the whole book just to look at the ads.
And that
there's some interesting choices for the ads.
And many people who watch us are avid video game collectors, especially retro gaming enthusiasts. If you're not interested in Barbie, you should stick around for the ads because they're pretty awesome and they make no sense because we can assume that this comic is, geared towards young girls, young Barbie fans. Like, why is there an ad for the Wrath of the Black Manta in Barbie number 1?
Right. Yeah, or like books about dudes in college playing college football. Steve, your stream is really stuttering. Not just on the
but it's green on this side.
Oh, actually, you know what's weird?
What?
It's fine on YouTube. It's stuttering in Skype. So just keep going. It's actually fine on YouTube.
Oh boy.
It's just Skype that's stuttering. No. It's
Barbie's cursing us. This is what I get for bad mouth. This is what I get for bad mouthing Julia Roberts. But anyway, all right.
Exactly. I do want to point out though, because Creative KV had written in the chat, referring to Barbie, that the lore is probably super in depth and intense. Probably crossover with the Avengers and X-Men. It wouldn't surprise me if there's some Barbie crossovers. Barbie, I suspect, has a lot of lore, but I also I'm sure that they don't like keep canon at all.
They just keep relaunching her. I mean, I don't know. After reading these comics, I can't imagine there's that much lore. But anyway, moving on. This is published by Marvel Comics, who was like the place to go for licensed tie-in comics back in the 90s, obviously before they got bought out by Disney in the 2000s. But this has a whopping cover price of $1. And I just want to make sure, Yahel, and to the Obscuriverse, that they're not confused with the other Barbie book that was going on at the time, which is known as Barbie Fashion, which also premiered pretty much around the same date of 1991. And
I keep thinking you're gonna say fascism every time you say fascism.
Barbie Fascist.
So I'm just imagining this book called Barbie Fascism.
Yeah. That would make for a fun what if. Let's just say that.
Yes.
But I actually took a look at the first issue of that, and it was somehow less make funnable than this one. So we went with regular Barbie volume or number 1, which I would say is the flagship of the 2 Barbie titles.
Okay.
Why did they need 2? Why did they need 2? I don't know.
Well, Steve, them kids, those Barbie kids, I guess they get some cash on them,
I mean, I'm sure Mattel does. That's for sure. But so just to briefly go over some of the creators of this book. Look at this. We've got the writer here. It's Lisa Truciani. That's right, a woman working in comics. It just didn't start, 20 years ago. It's happening right here in the 90s. And she worked on, aside from Barbie and the aforementioned Barbie fashion, she worked on Morbius, the Living Vampire. And that's pretty much it.
Wow. I mean, that's some range, though.
Yeah. She went from the 2 Barbie books, and they're like, we really like your style there, Lisa. How about you take a crack at Morbius, the Living Vampire, which has also become a joke in its own right, thanks to those It's Morbin Time memes.
I suspect that Lisa's run on Morbius was better than the film.
I suspect you're probably right. And then we have the penciler / the artist here, Mary Wilshire. Oh, look at that. Another woman. There you go. And she worked on The Little Mermaid licensed Marvel tie-in, Droids, the Star Wars book at the time, and get ready, Conan the Barbarian and Red Sonja.
Wow. Hey, again, great range, man.
Yeah,
good for them.
For sure. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Inker here is John Lucas, and you can look him up if you want. And this was a big surprise to me. Did you see who the editor on this book was?
Fabian Nicieza. Yeah, I was a little surprised too.
Co-creator of Deadpool and writer of everyone's favorite NFL superhero, Super Pro. And my jaw kind of dropped. I was like, wow, you were involved with this, Fabian, and Super Pro? I mean, that guy really wanted a paycheck back in the 90s. But
in the chat, Creative KV had written that I can respect them trying and hiring a variety of people. And I agree, too. I mean, I'm sure Lisa and Mary, like, as women, were better suited to come up with, not an artistic, an aesthetic that would be, more, I don't know, suitable to market to little girls at the time. And, Lisa's going to know more, having been a little girl herself.
Sure.
What they'd be into. So, yeah, smart choices.
Agreed, 100%. All right, we'll jump into the cover here, which, according to the Marvel comic books wiki, because it doesn't say his name anywhere in the comic itself. This has
a wiki.
This is a John Romita cover. Yeah, that's right. The Spider-Man artist. I mean, he's worked on everything. But any comments about said cover here?
I saw that it said Romita, but on the side, but I was like, no, not him.
There you go.
I mean, the style works for what they're going for.
I just like that Barbie is holding a doll of herself. That way, in case you're put off by the art here for whatever reason, like if you're like an 8-year-old girl, you're like, oh, it's a Barbie doll comic because the doll is right there.
Yep.
And then it tells you what you can expect from the inside. It says Barbie, fashion, fun, and exciting escapades.
It's fascism, fun, and exciting escapades.
Yeah, modeling mix-up, poodle pandemonium, and basically this is set up basically like an Archie comic where, as Yahel said, it's a couple of stories put in. And there's also kind of like some almost like activities for like little girls or little whoever is reading. Little boys could read it. We're not here to judge. This
is set up. I totally agree. It's set up a lot like an Archie comic book. I feel like that's kind of what they were trying to go for too with the art style. Unfortunately for me, it doesn't, because I loved Archie comic books growing up.
Me too.
To me, it doesn't have the charm, or really at least in this story, the more complex and nuanced storytelling that Archie Andrews Double Digest would bring to you.
It's also a little light in the comedy department.
There's attempts.
Oh man, this is spoiler alert. These are just like the cringiest like dad jokes and puns you could possibly imagine. I would say throwback to our Alf comic book episode if you want to dive into other licensed comics and their comedic styles. All right.
Shall we get into it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, though, this ad right here, I was happy to see it. And it is a Mario ad for Bubble Bath, basically, or I guess a Bubble Bath ad that has Mario characters on the bottle. And it's, I don't know, is this ad a little, by Revlon, actually. And it's a little creepy. We got Mario and the princess, I mean, obviously in their cartoon form, floating around in bubbles. And Mario was going, "Hey, it's our new shampoos are full of good, clean bubbles for you." And there's a naked child pointing at him with bubbles in his hair. But, don't worry. The panel is covering the child. So don't worry. It's okay. It's okay to look at it, everyone. And as we go through the comic, Mario continues. He goes, "Our bubble baths are a real splash, too." And the princess is there with, I guess, the kid's brother, or I don't know. They're not. I don't think it's ever said
sister.
That
I think she's there with like his sister.
that's what I meant to say. That was
because they have they drew like long eyelashes.
Right. Yeah. That was just a slip of. That's my whatever. So and then princess. You bastard! You bastard! If we were popular enough, we'd so be canceled from that.
Well, you'd be. I'd just get a new host.
Wow.
Less problematic host, obviously.
Yeah, well, I do like the Punisher, so what does that say about me? But you actually read the Punisher. That's why you don't have a Punisher sticker. Exactly. So Princess goes, anyway. "We smell so fruity and fresh," and like the little girl is like, "Tee-hee." And then at the end she goes, "We'll turn your hair into beautiful bubble. Make it clean and shiny too." And then that's basically it. I don't know.
In the chat, Creative KV was saying that there's a meme. I guess like a real popular, well-known meme made from this ad. I've never seen it. He was asking if we had seen it. Have you seen it?
No, this is my first time seeing this ad.
Yeah, I think I might have seen this ad before, maybe a similar one, but yeah. It's not inspiring me to purchase it, but I'm sure lots of kids saw this and begged their parents for some Super Mario Brothers shampoo.
Oh, I would have, but I wouldn't be buying Barbie comics back in the 90s. So again, this is a little confusing.
That was more like a 2000s thing for you?
You're right, 2010. And now I'm back. Thanks to the movie, I'm back in. I'm back in, baby. All right, so moving on. Basically, the next page is a table of contents, so we don't really need to look at that. And so now we are in our first story, and as Yahel said, basically the first and only one that we are going to be covering in depth, and it's Barbie in The Fashion Show Must Go On. And Barbie and her friends, let's see, she says all their names here. Let me make sure I don't get them wrong. Midge, Christy, and Teresa, and then Skipper is in the background. They're standing on a runway, and I guess they're wearing their fashionable clothes, or not that fashionable.
Yeah, this is, I guess, what they're going to be modeling in.
They seem pretty upset about it, and Barbie is all, "Midge, Christy, Teresa, what's wrong? We've got to get ready for the big fashion show." And the redhead, I'm not sure who is who, but they all have their own little comments to say about their outfits that they're wearing. And the first one says, "This dress is so big, I could get lost in it." And the other girl is, "These stripes are criminal." Do you get it? Because criminals wear stripes. You get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, just making sure. This is And the last girl is all, "A leopard would change these spots." Canned laughter. All right, cringy noises. I'll go with that. And then Barbie is all, "Come on, gang. The Garden Club is counting on us. We need the money to stop the Cement Corporation from turning our park into a parking lot."
And it's C.Ment.
That's so,
just to be clear.
It's so lazy. I love it. And how often did you hang out at the Garden Club? You ever been a member of a garden club of any kind?
No. Have you?
I don't even know what a garden club is.
I don't know what it is either.
Yeah. So now we see.
And I almost looked it up, but I was like, I don't need this in my search history.
Yeah, you've got more important things to do in your life.
Yeah.
So now we get to see one of the antagonists, the villain, if you will, this very hilariously drawn gardener who is actually named Gardner. They are so lazy on this. It's hilarious. And he says, "Clarence Cement is counting on me to stop them." How would you describe the look of a Gardner here?
He looks like a rejected Scooby-Doo villain doing the tee-heeing, behind the gang's back or something.
Well said. He's got a backwards hat, which is, usually reserved for your, 90s dude.
The bad boy.
Yeah. So this is one bad gardener. You don't want to mess with him. He's up to mischief, is what he. And the funny thing, he's holding a pink. I don't know what that thing is called. The thing you put the water in to water flowers. So he's simultaneously trying. Yeah, he's simultaneously trying to look like bad and villainous while watering flowers, which I think is pretty hilarious.
Creative KV had written in the chat, I think referring back to when they were talking about, oh, that's good that they hired a variety of people for this. He wrote, I take back my complimentary comment from earlier.
Yeah, I mean, we are here to make fun of this book, but good for those ladies for getting a paycheck back then. All right, so moving on to the next page. Let's see, I actually have like notes here. So basically, the Barbie, like one of Barbie's friends says, she goes, "Barbie's right, girls. Let's show some model behavior." And then we have I guess an older lady. She shows up, and I guess she's like their
she's lost her youthful beauty.
Yeah. What is she doing?
Now she had.
Yeah, what is she
now
doing?
She's
got
to be an administrator. Now she plants seeds of the garden club and helps run this show
and cries herself to sleep at night.
About when she used to be young and beautiful and had dreams she wanted to reach, but she let that sailor impregnate her, and then he died off in the war, and now she's here, single, 48, planting seeds at a garden club because nobody else wants to plant a seed in her anymore. But you know what the thing is, Steve? She is still beautiful on the inside, and if Barbie will help her to realize that she still has something to offer and will find love once again, and then she will be the potted plant being seeded. That's how the story ends, everyone. And
wow, that was way more interesting than the story we're about to read. I feel like for a minute I thought you were going sort of in a Frank Miller direction, but then it just went like god awful, depressing. I don't know.
But then at the end, everybody like is happy.
I guess it was like sort of
she found love again, and she finally got to have a second child. That's what she wanted.
All right, so enough of your good.
You see, Steve, the reason why she was planting seeds at the garden club, that was a metaphor for her wanting a seed planted in her. Steve, come on, man.
Wow, damn, this is some Kubrick level.
Yeah. Maybe I should apply to write the next Barbie book.
A movie. Screw the books. You should just. There's probably going to be a sequel, but sorry, you're a straight male. I don't think it's going to happen, buddy. So anyway.
This new Barbie movie, I don't know. It looks pretty good, man. I'm gonna watch it.
I was gonna ask you if you were gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm intrigued, but like not enough to go to the theater. I mean, if it shows up streaming somewhere, I'll take a watch. But
yeah, I probably won't go to the theater just because I hate going to the theater. But I mean, I know a few people who are kind of cynical like you and I when it comes to films, and that they said it was good. Like it doesn't take itself seriously, and that it was funny. And creative.
All right. Well, we shall see. But for now,
speaking of creative Barbie media, back to the comic book.
Yahel is he's had some medicinal help for this episode.
Wait a minute,
everyone.
Creative KV just said John Leguizamo as Ken. I'm going to block him. No more John Leguizamo.
Oh man, that would be something else. Okay, now for the
love we have a dislike for Leguizamo here.
Yeah. All right, so here comes the aforementioned wilted flower, the administrator of the garden club. She says, "If the runway's clear, we're ready for takeoff." Oh, Jesus, this is gonna be a hard one to get through. So she says, "Midge is first." And they go, "Oh no, Midge is stuck. Yeah, she's stage stuck." And then it shows Midge lifting up her high heel, and she's going, "Yuck." There's like some slime attached to it or something. And she says, in case you can't get it from the picture, she tells the reader what's going on. "This stuff on my shoe looks like," and then Barbie chimes in with, "model cement." Right, for model airplanes and cars. Not for us, because they're models. And then Barbie goes, "Oh gosh, now look at Skipper." She's like a Mexican jumping bean. I'm sorry to Yahel. Am I offending you with that statement?
No, Steve. I am going to reach out to Lisa and talk it
Have a
out
chat with her. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Skipper Gus says, I'm feeling so creepy. And then Midge says, she is wearing a jumpsuit. Oh, God, this is awful. All right, no wonder a spider is creeping on your collar. Ah, help! It's too horrible. I can't look. They're on the floor. They won't bite, Midge. They're only dandelions. So what is going on in this? So basically, they're just encountering
nuts.
all of Gardner's little pranks. Is that what's going on here?
These are like the most benign, like inconveniences. Like maybe the spider. Oh, by the way, are we supposed to believe that he got close enough to put a spider on her? So I guess that's just a coincidence.
Yeah,
but
yes.
Yeah, like these are the most minor inconveniences, and they're ready on the next page to be like, well, I was supposed to walk on rose petals, but now there's some dandelions. We got to cancel the show.
So
like, what?
They're I'm showing the Barbie gang here as kind of like a couple of dare I say snowflakes almost, or divas.
But the weird thing is,
will.
like, now suddenly on this next panel, if you go to the next page, if you haven't already, like they were backstage a second ago, but now they're like talking out on the part of the runway that's in the crowd.
No, they were on the runway the whole time, supposedly. Yeah. See, the lights are. If you go back to the previous page, there's lights in the background. Midge with her foot stuck. Yeah. They're.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought they were backstage.
It's
they were
hard to tell
the whole time
because all the panels are so tight and there's not a lot of background. But yeah. They were out on stage. And so, so if we turn the page, if you're following along with us at home, if you have a copy of Barbie #1, Midge, she's the redhead. She says, I don't want to be a shrieking violet, but I'm supposed to walk on rose petals. Yeah, that's it. We've got to cancel the show because of all the strange accidents. Worse than that, says the brunette, I can't remember her name, my hem just ripped. So
why is her hair like in the shape of like the Ouija triangle, like on a Ouija board?
Whoa, yeah, that's we might have to really dive into the symbolism here of what's going on. Like, are there demonic forces at play? And
maybe we'll have to get to the end.
Yeah, for sure. And then we get the fourth panel here with another hilarious drawing of Gardner here, backwards hat and all, and he's like, "Ooh, will the boss be happy with me? Their fashion show is soon going out of fashion." You got to love this dialogue, and by love I mean absolutely hate it. And so, in a puff of cigar smoke, in the fifth panel here, Mr. Cement shows up, and he's all, "How are we doing, Gardner?" And Gardner is all, "Wait till you see, Mr. Mint. You're a showstopper." Why does everything have to be a pun, Yahel? Why?
I don't know. It's terrible. Like, I don't know. Like, it's. Did you love puns as a kid, or even know any other kids that liked puns this much?
No. I only started to appreciate them for like so bad they're when I started being into like camp, like so bad they're good territory.
Well, Creative KB said that this dialogue is perfectly fitted to Steve's entire aura.
Well,
I think it means your delivery. Like,
all right, I will choose to take that as a compliment. Thank you.
Steve, you can't just keep choosing what isn't a compliment.
Choose positivity, Yahel. That's the Barbie way.
This is Steve's world, and we're just living in it, bro.
It's the Obscuriverse.
Yeah. Anyways, so on the next page, though, we've got one of several ads for a video game. Mm-hmm. Steve talked about it earlier. The Wrath of the Black Manta. Steve, what's your favorite level in Wrath of Black Manta?
I got to be honest, I don't remember, but I did actually play this game, and it's pretty cool. For those who don't know, it's a ninja game. I'm sure they were trying to...
Oh, is it?
I mean,
I couldn't tell from this ad.
I would have to say for the listeners, you son of a bitch, who aren't looking at it.
Right, it's not about mantas.
Right, it could be about stingrays. You don't know. You just don't know. But yeah, you get this kick-ass ninja, like he's taking up basically the whole page, and then they explain about the book here, or the video game, and then in the tiniest like lower right corner is like the actual levels. Which I mean, I remember the graphics being so for the time. But did you ever play Wrath of the Black Manta?
No, I never played it, but I don't appreciate you lying to those who can't see the visuals. That Wrath of the Black Manta is actually about the death of Steve Irwin, is what the video game is about.
Oh, timely. Oh, well played, sir.
It's been long enough. But no. I never played this. In fact, I had never even heard of it. And it's weird because it says that it's as seen at the Nintendo World Championships. And I went to the Nintendo World Championships, and I do not remember seeing this at all. But, you know, it was a long time ago. I was young, hopped up on gummy bears.
April of 1990, that's when you went?
Yeah, it was like 89 or 90, something like that.
Wow, like, well, we need to talk about that another time. But yeah,
Okay.
So give us your thoughts about the Wrath of the Black Manta in the comments, if you so desire.
Yes, tell us about what the Wrath of the Black Manta meant to you and your mother.
And the ninja in your life. All right, moving on. I sure hope it's another video game ad. We're back at the story. Oh boy.
No.
So Barbie is convening with her girls. She says, "Are we scaredy cats, girls?" And they all go, "No. Are a few accidents going to stop us from helping the Garden Club, which is the most important organization in any young girl's life?" So she goes, "Last one backstage is a rotten eggplant." Have you ever uttered those words to anyone in your entire life?
No. And why eggplant? Isn't like last one to blah 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 is a rotten egg? Like that's a real saying. Why add eggplant?
Well,
it's
I
very
mean,
strange.
They don't want to say anything about eggs. They want these girls to have, fertile eggs. Which
that's a good point, Steve.
Yeah,
yes.
So an eggplant also has become, that the eggplant emoji is like a symbol for, something.
So that's what they were alluding to in 1990, Steve, when this came out. Interesting.
Well, I'm just saying, for many years, Yahel, in fact, over decades, the eggplant has always been a fertility symbol, is what I'm saying.
Well, Lisa was a visionary, I suppose. And
a phallic symbol, if you will.
Yes. I take back what I said.
Yes, you should. You think about what you said, you toxic male. Anyway, in the foreground is Mr. Cement yelling at Gardner here, and Gardner he's not yelling at him. He's got like a vein going in his neck. He's got a very J. Jonah Jameson kind of like persona going, got the cigar. And Gardner's like, I guess they changed their minds, boss. Hee. Because in the previous panel, he was like, oh, they're not going to do the show. But here, Barbie and her cohorts here are not going to be deterred. So these grown middle-aged men then sneak into the dressing room of Barbie and her friends. And basically, they're like, oh, we only have 3 minutes to make up, girls. And then one of the other girls goes, it's lucky we're not angry with each other, which is a really weird thing to say.
Yeah, I agree. I guess like there's supposed to be a good thing, like we all get along well and aren't taking out whatever on each other. But yeah, very strangely written. And then I thought it was funny that the next line from, I think it's Barbie that's saying it, says, and a good thing that the natural look is in. That's just kind of weird considering like Barbie dolls have like their makeup permanently painted on them.
Right. Yeah, indeed. And then Mr. Cement says in response to Barbie's remark there, they'll wish their ridiculous look was in when we get through with their wardrobe. So basically, again, these grown middle-aged men are going to rifle through the women's clothing. Thank God, another video game ad for Gargoyle's Quest for the Game Boy. What's your favorite level of Gargoyle's Quest for the Game Boy?
I don't remember my favorite level, but I did play this game, and I think I enjoyed it, if I remember correctly.
Is Gargoyle's Quest in any relation to Demon's Quest?
Yeah, because that's like part of the Ghouls and Ghosts universe, right?
I'm not sure. I don't.
Because I'm pretty sure this is like an offshoot, the whole like Ghouls and Goblins franchise by Capcom. This is a Capcom game too. I think Demon's Quest does as well. That's like on the Genesis, right?
The Demon's Quest is a Super Nintendo game.
Oh, okay.
If I remember correctly.
Well, I'll Google it here and
Well,
we'll see. But yeah, anyways, I remember liking it. Yeah, Demon's Quest is another Capcom game. Um, and yeah, it's part of Gargoyle's Quest. Indeed, it says right here. Basically, there's characters in it, enemies from Ghost and Goblins, which is following Gargoyle's Quest and Gargoyle's Quest 2. So yeah, it's all related.
Nice. All right. Well, that's funny because I played Wrath of the Black Manta. You played this. It's like this Barbie #1 was like tailored to a couple of guys who were gonna make fun of it, so they purposely inserted these video game ads so we wouldn't be too bored.
Yes. In fact, in this game, I think you play as an enemy. Like yeah, it says right here you play as Firebrand.
The gargoyle. You play as the gargoyle, right?
Yeah, and you play as him in Demon's Crest as well.
Well, stay tuned.
But he's an enemy in Ghosts and Goblins. So, anyways,
nice.
We can talk about the Ghosts and Goblins cinematic universe some other time.
We should talk about gargoyles someday, but that's another pod. All right.
We'll be there all day on the Star Trek Connections on gargoyles.
Oh, that's true. So now, unfortunately, we turned the page and we're back with Barbie #1, and I guess Mr. Cement and Gardner are inside the dressing room, and they're saying, "How do you think Christie's top will look with Midge's bottoms on you, boss?
Whoa.
Great."
That actually was kind of funny.
Yeah, well, Gardner here just admitted that he wants to see his boss wearing women's clothing. And yeah, I will say this was the one that actually made me chuckle. And is also
that was very unexpected.
Possibly the most problematic. I don't know. You be the judge, listeners. So moving on, Mr. Cement says, "Not me, you idiot. Help me mix up these outfits. Time to get..." Oh, and then outside the door, "Time to get dressed, ladies." And Gardner's all, "Somebody's coming, boss." So, man, that's a weird panel. They're like, you see their silhouettes, and behind them is just like, it looked like someone took pink magic marker and drew on the background.
I was thinking Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, even better. So they basically run out of the wardrobe dressing room area. Barbie and her friends show up, and Barbie says, "I'm glad we're quick change artists." Oh, God. And Midge says, "I guess it comes from years as a cashier," and it's actually written tee-hee. And then we move on to the next panel, and the girls, since they didn't bother to look as they put on the clothes, they realize that all their outfits are mixed up because in this comic book, Barbie's friends are not smart enough to, I guess, match up like which tops go with which bottoms. Now that's what the writers and the creators here are saying, not me. And they're going, "Oh no, our outfits are mixed up. Teresa's right. I was wearing stripes." And now Midge goes, "And now I am." And one of the other ones says, "This is the last straw, Barbie." And Skipper says, "We've got to cancel the show now. Like, it's over, right, Yahel? They can't just, remix up the outfits, right? They're done.
Absolutely. And they were kind of complaining in the first panel about what they looked like, too. So it's not like they really even liked these outfits that I guess were chosen for them. Funny enough, Creative KV had written in the chat that Pepto tastes like melted doll plastic, coincidentally. So, yeah, maybe there's some cross-branding going on.
Jesus. All right. Turning the page, and Barbie, ever the voice of reason, she says, "Wait a minute, girls. We've lost sight of one thing. We all look great." Skipper says,
we girls, we forgot how vain we are.
We forgot how hot we are. We can do anything. We can post up like a single Instagram video of ourselves and get millions of views. Meanwhile, podcasts like Obscurity Now only get like 10 to 15 if they're lucky. But anyway, so yeah, do you really think so, Barbie? Says Skipper. "Well, there's one way to find out, girls. Let's start the show." And they all go, "Hooray!" And so the last panel here is Barbie and her friends walking the runway, and Barbie's got the mic, and she's addressing the crowd, which I would say is not something that models normally do. Not that I am a fashion show expert, but anyway, she says, "Thanks for coming to our fall mix and match fashion show to benefit our park. We have lots of surprises in our parade of fashion. And I love the remarks from the audience here. They go, beautiful, bravo, what an idea. And in the foreground we get a gardener here. He's always looking over his shoulder for some reason. It's almost like they did the Rob Liefeld Youngblood cut and paste method with him that they did from Youngblood #1. And so Gardner says, looks like they got your goat, Mr. Ment. And Mr. Ment says, maybe this time, but when I turn this town into a shopping mall, they'll pave for this. Huh? You had to end it on like the cringiest pun, and like and that's basically the end of the story. Any thoughts on the last page here of this story?
Oh, just it's so stupid. Like, it's so dumb. Barbie's cutting a promo like it's WWE SmackDown. You know, we've got the classic goon that loves seeing his boss kind of get the short end of the stick, even though that's his boss. Pretty lame. Pretty lame.
Do you think I thought that possibly Mr. Mint and Gardner or maybe caricatures of someone who worked in the Marvel Comics office. For some reason, they just they have such a different look compared to Barbie and her friends. I don't know.
I think they were just trying to make them look
cartoony,
villainous. Creative Cat KV in the chat wrote that the letterer must have been an excruciating pain. Indeed. So, you ready to render a verdict on this one, Steven?
Let's take a look at some of the other video game ads, shall we?
Oh, that's right. There's
and,
a few more
and
ads.
There's some other pretty hilarious. I mean, we can just sort of on the next page it says looking good and feeling good. How to do the Barbie walk. Apparently, there's basically they're I guess they're trying to say that they're encouraging physical fitness by telling little girls to go out and walk like Barbie does, but they probably shouldn't be dressing like Barbie. At least how she is in this, pretty skimpy. But any thoughts on that, or shall we just move on?
No, what a waste. Of a page.
Well, that's
trees died for this.
I mean, as we said back when we covered Alf, I mean, these were all just basically commercials for whatever licensed tie-in, and so they're just filling up pages. Really, it's all about the cover, so kids could go into a comic shop and be like, hey, look, it's Barbie, this is reminding me to buy Barbie, or hey, look, it's Alf, this is reminding me to watch Alf. But anyway, so then there's another sort of activity page, is suggesting that girls throw a funny fashion dress-up party. Like the captions say, ask your mom if you can wear some of her old wacky clothes. Like Skipper is here wearing bell bottoms. One of the other girls is dressed up like a flapper. Whatever, it is what it is. And then now we get a ad.
Mom, can I wear your clothes from the Raging 20s, the Roaring 20s? How old is this girl's mom?
And Creative KB says, real men don't need reminders. Oh, you got that right, brother.
And Smoke Monster is here. He wrote that her mom is 100 years old. Thanks for joining.
Yes, I just discovered on Smoke Monster's Twitter that he's a fellow bass player. So that's a...
Oh, yes.
I never knew that. So we'll have to discuss that someday offline on Bass Players Now, which is a podcast that I will probably never start up. So now we are saved from Barbie thanks to another Capcom ad for Street Fighter 2010, The Final Fight. Did this game even...
Yeah, this is the last Street Fighter game they ever made.
Did this even get released? This obviously has nothing to do with Street Fighter.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I played this a few times.
Is it just a beat 'em up?
Yeah, from what I remember, it's a beat 'em up. I can't remember exactly why. I think it had a different name in Japan, and then it got renamed this here. I don't remember exactly, but obviously this was not the next proper sequel to Street Fighter, the fighting game series. But it did predict 2010 very accurately, where we fight hordes of goons in jungles. You remember that 13 years ago, Steve?
Oh man, those were the
that?
days. I was almost drafted into that.
Silver outfits.
I do wear a silver outfit from time to time. I'll admit it.
Yeah. Well, I was drafted into the final fight in 2010.
So this basically combines two of their games. It's Street Fighter and Final Fight like mixed together.
Well, just in the names,
right.
Because even if you like read the little blurb here, it's like you're fighting interplanetary characters.
Yeah, but but what I'm saying, this is probably a completely different game, and the marketing geniuses were like, how are we going to get people to play this that has nothing to do with either of those things? And they combine two popular names and put it for one lame game. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Moving on. Now.
Barbie and Dirty Dancing. Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, this one actually is a story. Barbie's on a cruise, and there's another sort of member of the Barbie crew here. I guess it's Skipper's friend Courtney, and she's a klutz. And basically, they get they're gonna go out dancing. Courtney is just such a klutz that she's not having a good time. They get Ken to dance with her, and oh, thank goodness, we're saved by an ad for Marvel cards. So if you're like an 8-year-old girl and you're reading about Barbie, luckily there's plenty of ads here for video games and superhero cards if you get bored. Did you ever collect any of these?
Well, I mean, it's not like little girls weren't playing video games in the 90s.
No,
or
I'm not saying that they weren't.
In fact, I knew. But it is weird that they went with these like kind of traditionally hyper masculine game titles, instead of something more general, like a platformer or something like that has more of a general
Barbie
appeal.
Video game, right? Or like a
a Barbie video game. I don't know if there were any out on NES at the time or whatever, but
I speculate that at the time, since Marvel Comics was mostly geared towards young boys, that they didn't even have any other ads to put in here but these. That's just my hypothesis.
Yeah, it could very well be that, sure. But I used to collect this. There's a bunch of different variants and a bunch of different sets of Marvel trading cards over the years, but I had this whole set.
Ooh, 162 trading cards. You don't still have them, do you?
No, I wish I did.
How disappointing. All right.
So Smoke Monster wrote that Alexander, our mutual friend Alex, is really into Barbie games, and I could see that actually.
Barbie's Horse Adventure. It's a classic, but I've never actually played it. But anyway, moving on. Basically, everything turns out for the best. Ken dances with Teresa, and Barbie shows some kind of weird dance at the end that the little girls can do if they want to, and that's the end of that story. A big surprise, there's a lot of cringy puns throughout this one. Read it if you want. That's basically that story. For some reason it ends with a postcard of Barbie suggesting that she's aware the biggest question is what's to eat: coconut cream pies, coconut pizza, or coconut ice cream. Funny stuff. All right.
Yeah. She's like, what should I throw up after I eat it? We have JT Vega in the chat asking Barbie comics. We are covering a Barbie comic. We're just about done though here, but Steve, what's on the next page after?
Well, all right. After reading this very, sort of feminine story about a young klutzy woman, getting to have a nice dance. What do we have? Basketball cards. High five, Fleer basketball cards. Score big again in 1990. And I'm much more interested in the video game ads than I am with basketball cards. So here they are. You don't have any.
Yeah. Steve, before you leave this page, I can't help but notice that, we've got some great all-time players here. We've got like John Stockton, Larry Bird, David Robinson, Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman. And then, of course, we have rookie sensation Pooh Richardson. So there's a guy here named, God, if you're watching this, please maximize it. The third to last card on the bottom. His name is Pooh, P-O-O-H. Richardson. I've never heard of this guy. Everybody else I'm familiar with.
It's got to be a nickname, I would hope. Maybe his real name is.
It might be his
real name is probably Winnie, but they call him Pooh just to get on his nerves. Basically, it's like it's a ribbing. It's a good.
Who like Fleer is trying to get on his nerve? The card company.
No, I mean his teammates. They're like, your name is Winnie? Forget that, bro. We're calling you Pooh. Pooh Richardson. Yeah, that sounds good.
Oh, my God. Well, I'm going to find out about this Pooh Richardson. All right, you're right. It's a nickname. His name is Jerome Pooh Richardson.
I like my version better, but
yeah, well, he had 10 seasons, so hey, in the NBA, so good for him. Pretty successful.
Indeed. So I think this is the last Barbie story here. She goes to a fashion designer and to talk about designing her clothes or something. I think this one was probably the most boring of all, or at least at this point, I was getting so bored reading this comic that.
Oh, at this point, you were in until.
Well, I was. I was just sort of marveling at the cringy puns at first, and reveling in the so bad it's good. At this point, it just becomes a little too much. But at least it's encouraging girls to, if they want to, they can pursue a career in fashion design. And this character here, the fashion design lady, she says what she has to do, to go to fashion school, blah, 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 blah. So, if you are a young...
Steve, what is her degree in, though, specifically, she's holding up in this panel? Or what school specifically did she go to?
She went to the Fashion School of Technology. I think I remember...
Me, personally, I went to the Fashion School of Medicine, personally.
And if you think that's funny, later, in one of the earlier books or stories, they went to an amusement park that's simply called Amusement Park. And, so a lot of thought went into writing these stories. And I dare anyone else to say, if you say otherwise, you're a misogynist racist.
Yeah.
So...
Well, I definitely, when I saw Fashion School of Technology on the degree, I definitely got vibes similar to, I went to Harvard, Yale, and
Harvard College,
Yale.
A's. Yeah, Harvard College, Yale. Yeah, Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. If you don't know what we're talking about, check it out. You won't be disappointed. So, all right. God, I forgot there was one. This was the story about Barbie losing her dog, and this is the panel here. Where they go to the amusement park, which is called Amusement Park. And that's basically all you need to know. They're chasing the dog to the amusement park. She jumps on stuff. There's the dog here jumps on a carousel, there's a horse here. Mm-hmm. And Ken goes, "Sparky, quit horsing around." Comedy? Clearly, you're not familiar with comedy. For a minute, I thought you froze.
For a minute, I thought I was watching an episode of Big Bang Theory.
Oh wow, that's a burn. So I do like this checklist here of other licensed tie-in comics. On the next page, you got Count Duckula, Heathcliff. And there's not pictured are Mighty Mouse and the other Alf. As I said, Alf and Barbie Fashion. We got to read this Heathcliff comic someday. I want to know why Heathcliff has a chainsaw.
It looks like he's about to murder this
it looks
family.
like Snuffy Smith, which is a comic strip that probably not a lot of people know. But anyway, we're almost done here, ladies and gentlemen. I swear. They're still chasing the dog through the carousel or through the park. Then we get an ad for football cards because, again, that's...
No, these aren't cards. These are books.
To know these guys, and you have to meet them. NFL. I guess I should have actually read it.
Yes.
Wow.
It says new NFL Pro Set Collectibles are 8 pages of pictures, stats, and personal information about your favorite NFL players. Getting to know the NFL has never been this painless. No fear. But
no fear. Well done.
Wow, I don't know the balls to call 8 pages a book.
Yeah, I feel like these would show up in the book fair, in elementary school, possibly.
Oh yeah, this is definitely Book It.
Yeah, right next to the martial arts books and the monster truck books. But anyway.
Yeah, and the Pooh Richardson biography, unauthorized.
Someone's got to make a Pooh Richardson biopic. But here, I do think it's interesting. We turn the page, and there's another one of those silhouette panels with the Pepto-Bismol coloring in the background. And there's even a little stuffed elephant over here. I guess that's the typical supposed to be the typical Barbie pink that they...
Right, yeah, I think that's why there's so much pink in here. They're just trying to use...
Right, and yeah, so they go up the roller coaster because the dog jumps in a roller coaster car. I mean, clearly, that dog could easily fall to its death, but hey, this is the Barbie world where nothing bad ever happens. And of course, I'm just going to read the last lines here. And Ken says, "How can a poodle have a stuffed animal for a friend, Barbie?" Barbie says, "Why not? After all, he is a toy poodle."
Kill me.
Yeah. And I just feel bad that I'll never get around to reading the next issue, which features Cowabunga Barbie. And
the next issue I did look into it because I was kind of curious. And she gets eaten by a shark.
I just assumed that she would encounter the surf Nazis, the ones who must die from the movie that you hate so much. And she would show them the error of their ways and,
I would rather read another Barbie comic book than watch that
fuck
movie.
you, man. It's not that bad. Jesus. At least for the soundtrack. Oh, God. Anyway, see our Surf Nazis episode. See if you agree or not. And you can write a letter.
To quote the critic, it stinks.
All right. I'll give you points for quoting the critic at least. But anyway, that is Barbie number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, we get one last video game ad here. But this isn't a video game. It is a peripheral, did I say that right? Peripheral? The laser scope. What do you know about the laser scope there, Wrestling with Gaming?
It works no matter what you yell. You don't have to yell specifically fire. It's just, once it hears a sound loud enough, it's ready to fire. I never used one of these, but from what I understand, it's not great.
None of them ever were, right? You just need a controller. And the zapper, though. I enjoyed the zapper, for sure.
No, the zapper worked. I mean, if you get the Power Glove set up correctly and you use like a Power Glove specific game, it can be fun. I
think those are bold words.
It's very difficult to get it set up.
Yeah. Well, all right. That is Barbie number 1, ladies and gentlemen. I guess we should render a verdict. You ready? You ready, buddy? You sure you don't want to think about it? Because this one's going to take some time.
I'm good.
All right. Here's this bumper.
Remembered or obliterated? Next is the question.
All right, and let me get it back to the cover so we can. All right. Yahel Velazquez, do you think Barbie number 1, that's right, not Barbie fashion, Barbie number 1 should be remembered for all of eternity or tossed into the dollar bin of obscurity, never to be heard from again?
Obviously, I'm going to go with obliterate it for all the reasons we've already mentioned. Terrible, cringy. I don't see how anyone at any age or any gender could find this enjoyable. What say you, Steve?
Well, I mean, aside from a couple of dudes trying to make jokes from this book, I don't see much value in it. It's just a commercial to remind kids to go buy Barbie dolls. It's not funny. It's pretty poorly written. I mean, the art isn't the worst thing in the world, but my God, it deserves to be obliterated. So here we go. Goodbye, Barbie number 1.
The heathens have spoken. You are obliterated.
All right. Wow. Well, that was something else. Let's see. Created KB says, "I'd rather turn into cheap plastic than read another issue." That's a good review right there, I'd say. But that's pretty much our show, ladies and gentlemen. If you happen to have backed Escape to Earth number 2 on Kickstarter, all the physical orders have been sent out. If you didn't get yours, let me know, and we'll work it out from there. And stay tuned. Issue number 3 is right around the corner. Anything going on in your world that you wish to talk about, Mr. Velazquez?
No, I'm looking forward to the Barbie crossover with your comic book Escape to Earth. Should be good.
I think my female protagonist could easily take Barbie and her friends if, they can't even take a spider or, what was it,
Well, it's a good thing that they're not fighting, or whatever Barbie said.
Oh, yeah,
in
right.
this comic book.
Yeah, there are 4 of them, though, so it would take a little bit more time for her to, But anyway, that's another comic book.
I like how you're running through the actual scenario in your head, Steve. You're like, well, clearly the character could obviously.
I don't like to say that I'm a writer, Yahel, more of a dream weaver, but...
dream weaver, yes.
All right, let us know what you think about Barbie #1 in the comments, and please like and subscribe. Share this with your friends to let them know whether they should read or not read Barbie #1. And make sure you join us next Sunday as we continue to unearth even more obscure media only on Obscurity Now. We'll see you next Sunday.
You've been enjoying Obscurity Now, a podcast that's recorded live to tape and streamed to Twitch and YouTube. Subscribe so you never miss an episode or hilarious quip. Take us with you by following the download links provided in the show notes to wherever you get podcasts. And take notice of our various social media links. If that's what you're into, I'm not here to judge. And make sure you join us live next week at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific as we continue to discuss more obscure media only on Obscurity Now.